Good evening, Sam.
Good morning, Mallory.
Welcome back to Nobody's Leaves, a podcast that is about us being trapped and we're not allowed to get out. We make each other watch stuff, and this time we watched Summer Hikaru Died, which is why I'm in my beautiful albino manic pixie dream boy aesthetic right now. But that's for later, and because as eagle-eyed viewers of the podcast might have noticed, this is the same wig that I wore last week, and it made my nose go numb not too long into the recording. So I will be taking it off and then putting it back on. I'm going to put it on for the segment about Summer Hikaru Died, and then probably take it off again. So lot of wig changes, this is like Drag Race, you know, like my outfit is coming in different stages. That's very exciting, you know, a lot of reveals for this episode of the podcast.
I like all the things you put so much thought into when it comes to this show, and then I'm pretty sure you called it the Nobody's Leaves podcast. You know, it's just the dichotomy of Mallory, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I'm putting a lot of thought into this, and then I'm also like, what time were we supposed to record again? I lost the footage. Oh,
we haven't lost footage in at least a month. All right, let's calm down.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. It's been a while since I've had a huge major slip up that's ruined our entire production. The lost episodes of the Nobody Leaves podcast.
Gone forever, but not gone from our hearts.
That'll be like the archive of just uploading like a bunch of like hours of Sam just talking to himself.
You ever see that with like a podcast where they edit, or it's like a podcast where they were actually in the same studio and they just make it so it's like one member of the podcast talking to nothing? Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun times.
Those are fun. I wouldn't do that to you.
I feel that way sometimes when we're recording. No, I'm kidding.
Sam, what you been getting into this week? What have you been watching, reading, listening, resonating with? What's been in your heart?
Mallory, I'm glad you asked. It's time for your favorite subject, your favorite segment of the podcast. It's Skong Watch. We're talking Hollow Knight Silksong for maybe the last time, because I did beat it. I have defeated the enemy at the heart of the game. I have finished the final act. You look so excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can feel you getting excited about my excitement. Mallory, generational title, I tell you what.
This is like Nobody Leaves Skong Watch Funeral for a Friend. This is like we're retiring the Skong Watch. As we go on, we remember. Yeah,
Hornets a spider.
How has Skong concluded? Hornet's a spider. That's a very interesting thing to say. What does that
was already
mean?
known. It means that Hornet is a bug named Hornet that is actually more like a spider.
Cool.
Why don't you bump the mic a couple more times? This is Skong Watch. It's the most professional moment in the podcast.
That's all going to be muted. You're the only one hearing that, okay? This is your segment to talk while I fix my precarious mic stand and cut out all the audio from it.
What is there to say, you know? Generational title.
What is there to say?
I fought dancers. I fought magicians. I fought an organ player. I fought an opera singer. I escaped prison. I played carnival games with fleas. I played carnival games with ladybugs. I attended 2 funerals. I summited a frozen mountain. I escaped from prison. It's just maybe one of the best video games I've ever played in my life, you know? I don't know what to tell you. Incredible time.
That's cool. I like that there was a whole adventure that you were able to go on. That's a lot of fun. I also think I'm hallucinating that my mic stand is moving, because I don't think it is. But every time I like turn my head, I feel like it's like slipping and it's gonna crumble and fall.
Boy, that single ibuprofen is just wrecking through this podcast.
Yeah, we're pulling back the curtain a little bit. I took an ibuprofen before we started because I had a headache, and boy, oh boy, is it taking me for a ride. Yeah, sounds really cool, Sam, that you went on a cool little action-packed adventure. What was the most surprising thing about Skong to you that you didn't expect from this game that's been in development? Because I know that it's been anticipated for a great many years. What was the biggest thing about it that you're like, I did not think they were going to go in this direction? That's crazy.
I have 2 words for you that are gonna haunt you forever because I know you're dodging this seminal video game experience. Toxic Yuri.
Oh, that's very
How
challenging.
is that possible, you ask? Yep, I thought it would be, you know?
Oh, that's a very challenging thing for you to have said to me. Because as you know, as this episode is about toxic yaoi, you know that there is absolutely something that is gonna hook me into the game. Wow, they went all out. They got out.
Yeah,
This
game's got everything.
To me, hearing that like toxic Yuri is in something is like the equivalent of like the AAA seal. Like it's like, wow, they really pulled out the big budget for this. Like they weren't afraid.
This might be the first quadruple A video game. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's the fourth A is for angst.
It is. There's also angsty yaoi. Don't get me wrong, but
whoa,
you know,
that's crazy.
This game's got it all.
That's wild. I did
Those
not
grasshoppers.
expect that.
What are they doing? You know.
Whoa, that's crazy. Can you provide any more light on that, or is that just like a little morsel that you're gonna dangle?
Well, there are robots involved, but you know, I don't need to go too much further. That's not even a joke. That's the best part. I love it.
Cool. Nice. What is the...
This has been the final Skong Watch.
Skong Watch.
Until next week when I'm like, you know, I think I might make a video on Skong.
Or whenever you inevitably pitch it to me. That was not how... I added some extra syllables into that word.
The Nobody's Leaves podcast. What have you been consuming this week, Mallory?
Same huge news for Tumblrs everywhere. The Homestuck pilot has finally dropped. So I watched the Homestuck pilot, and I've been reading Homestuck. I didn't get too deep into it because then I had to watch the Summer Hikaru Died. But it was nice because the time that I have read Homestuck before, like, it was not getting too far beyond like the pieces I'd already read, so I kind of could somewhat understand what was going on. But yeah, I know inevitably because it's a Homestuck pilot, it was very like divisive because I think that like
I'm shocked.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I feel like there's nothing you could have done that's gonna like please all members of that community. I think the thing that I'm most interested in is this accessible to me? Who like again like I basically know.
You've dipped a single pinky toe into the Homestuck pond, right? Is like
exactly.
The idea.
So it's like I know what they're referencing about like the inventory system. There's basically the early chapters of Homestuck are really concerned about making jokes about a very inconvenient inventory system that is like, it's really, really funny. It's my favorite part of that section is that they're like riffing on like just annoying like cumbersome inventory systems. But it's like weirdly this kid is like a real human kid playing a video game, but the kid in his real life has like when he picks up his like cell phone in his room, like it would go into his inventory system. So it's like this weird meta humor, very Toby Fox adjacent type of jokes. But yeah, like I think that I've seen people saying they spent too much time explaining the inventory system and it should just be a background joke. I've heard people say they didn't explain it enough and that it's going to come up later. It's like, I don't know. Like,
sounds very Scott Pilgrim-y, where it's like, the movie's just like, he's got an extra life, don't worry about it. And I think the comic maybe is a little bit more in your face about like the coins and whatnot.
Yeah, because it's kind of like I think part of why it's like that also is because the comic started as a like users respond and like dictate the direction of the comic. It almost seemed to function like one of those like what are the like those text games that you send like the
Like a choose your own adventure kind of deal.
yeah. Like those choose your own adventures, like text-based games where you're like
Twitch
pick up,
plays webcomic, you know.
yeah, like pick up,
Tumblr
stick,
plays webcomic.
like that kind of, yeah, that kind of thing. And it's like people would like send in prompts and that would like dictate the direction of the story. And I think the whole inventory system was like created as like basically treating the comic like a video game in the way that people were interacting because they were like inputting commands. So it was like they would do something that would seem intuitive and seem like it would solve their problem, and then the comic creator would like think of a clever way to have tricked them, and like it's like the what's the famous Mass Effect thing where it's like talk to them and then you like punches them or something, like
there's a I've never played Mass Effect, or I've only played like a couple hours of the first one, but there is a choice at some point where it's like it's the reporter character, I think, that always shows up in the series and annoys people, and it's like show them the door, and it's like you fucking punch them out or whatever.
Yeah, it's like that, but like doing it intentionally and exploiting that for humor. Like that's the best way I could describe it. It's like intentionally being obtuse in like what the commands are and like how they work so as to like create humor out of that situation.
Right, like
so,
the fans pick up too many items, and then, well, we've got one extra item slot, and then it's like, well, this takes 2 item slots, or stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I think that, but then it transitions into like, from my knowledge of Homestuck without having read the whole thing, it transitions into like they kind of stop taking the like fan thing, and then it just becomes like, this is a comic and we're releasing chapters, so it becomes more of a linear narrative. I'm not sure if like the like users input choice stuff like comes back or not, like, or to what extent it does, but like because it transitions into more of a narrative, I'm certain that part is probably a lot easier to remake into like a like a animated series where it's like a linear kind of story. But like for this, I feel like they did a decent job of referencing all of these jokes, and like it's really visually busy when you're watching it. Like there's just all little details flying around the screen in a way that like intentionally I feel like creates this feeling of like overwhelming chaos, but also doing it in a way where it's like, this is not that important information. Like you don't,
right. If you know, you know. If you don't, you can ignore it, kind of deal.
Yeah. And you, it's just creating the image of like a kid who's like kind of like fumbling around through like a bunch of interfaces or whatever. Like that's kind of the vibe. So I feel like they did a pretty good job. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: are you more or less than 1% of the way through Homestuck? If you had to guess.
1%. I finished reading Act 1 of the comic, but I also know that it's one of those things where like it's like the Naruto to Naruto Shippuden type of thing, where it's like the length of Act 1 compared to like when you get to like Acts like 4 and 5 and 6, like they're infinitely longer than any of the other acts.
At some point, it's like
there's
the Great Shinobi War is a third of the story. Like, what's going on here?
Exactly. So I think that yeah, it's hard to make a estimate, but I know that like Homestuck people will understand that I've finished Act 1. I'm like into Act 2, which I think is also generally shorter. But I think there's a total of 6 acts, but I know that like the later acts like dwarf the size of like the early ones.
Is Homestuck finished?
Yes. Yeah, they had like a definitive end and like a big probably animated thing or whatever, that happened at the end. So It is
I
done
did not know that.
and dusted.
I don't know anything about Homestuck still.
It's and you can read it. I know that there was like some misconceptions and some like I wasn't sure where you could like find the entire comic, but you can now like you can go to homestuck.com and read the whole thing. I've had a couple. I was reading on my phone for part of it, and like some of the like Flash stuff wasn't working seemingly, so I think it might probably be best consumed on a desktop. But I don't know. But I it was still fine. But yeah, that's my Homestuck journey this week.
I gotcha. Homestuck
yeah.
and the Summer Hikaru Died. Very interesting week.
Yes, and Has-Been Hotel season
And-
2 trailer dropped. Because it's coming out, I think the 29th of October. It's coming out very
You have
soon.
so many things to pitch me, you know?
I
It's
know.
beautiful.
And I wanted to do, like, I had, like, more Halloween-themed stuff. It's like, yes, like, this is, like, horror. This makes sense for Halloween. And then, like, I mean, I think Has-Been Hotel makes sense for Halloween to an extent. But I have like, you know, timeless Halloween classics, too. So I'm just kind of like,
Of course.
what do we do with all this?
Well, I got my one out of the way, right, Sinners? Like, I don't have anything else, any other bullets in the chamber that I'm going to fire at the end of this into your head. I got nothing, you know?
Spoilers for the end of the podcast.
Foreshadowing is a literary technique.
Last thing is, are you aware of the new Painting and Stocking that came out?
I am aware it came out, and it's like, it's getting pretty well received, as far as I can tell. And it's also like, boy, Panting and Stocking was a long time ago. Panty and Stocking. I did the Nobody's
Yeah.
Leaves.
The Nobody's Leaves. The plural of nobody leave. It's Nobody's Leaves.
Nobody is Sleevious.
Yeah, no, Painting and Stocking. I haven't really. I've been clicking around. Like I'm very curious to watch it, but I'm like it was very archived in time. Like my high school group of friends were like crazy about it, and I'm kind of like,
Y'all watched it like one weekend without me, and I just never went back, you know? I've seen random bits of the original series, and I've seen random bits of the new series. And at some
Yeah.
point, I'll do the Studio Trigger, like, deep dive, and I'll just watch everything. Oh, it's not Trigger, though. It's, is it Gynex?
Madhouse. I don't know what
Madhouse?
studios make stuff. I wouldn't know.
I can't remember.
Gynax.
Wow.
So it's
They don't make
the
anything
sequel
anymore, so that's
to-
crazy.
The sequel to Shinji and Evangelion, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want like the full Evangelion lore, like they're referencing, like they're angels, right? That's like Ava people, you know,
You got it.
got their
When
number.
Sachiel, you know, did like the stripper dance in episode 1, it was like, whoa, where's this show going?
Well, this is what they did that made it good. That is the main reason why I want to watch it. Is they added 2 elegant boys to be they're like the boy angels now, and they're called like polyester and polyurethane. And they're just they have like Jesse and James colored hair, and they're just like, and then they're so mean, and like they're I really like their Japanese voices because they're just calling them like they're doing like the shade thing like all the time, like they're just being like they're calling them like One-san Tachi, which just means like our older sisters, you know, like underlying old type of thing. Like it's very like they're being like very polite and being like, oh wow, you've been working really hard, like, you know, like, oh,
They're calling Panting and Stocking like Unk, basically.
yeah, basically. Like they're
I
being
understand.
like just little shits and like really like, you know, like we do everything right and you guys are stupid and failures. I'm like, man, that's good. I like that.
Do students in your classroom like call you old? Do you get the treatment?
Sometimes I feel like I feel like most of my students generally try to be polite, so then I try to like be like, yeah, that's an okay territory to make a joke about in order to Like, because like if you're a teacher and you're older, you're like wasting so much potential by like, and like plenty of them, like I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm 28, and they'll be like, wow, you're so young. I'm like, thank you. But then like,
thank you so much.
But yeah, like
You
I
can't
feel
be the
like,
young teacher forever, Mallory.
exactly, yeah, and it's kind of exhausting, honestly, being the like you're like the 22-year-old, like, because you're also when you're 22, like even when I was 22 teaching middle schoolers, I'm like, we are not far away. We're not far enough away from each other for me to be like, any sort of authority over you. But yeah, like it's there's definitely. I feel like I invited a lot. I'm just being like, yeah, like or I'll be like, guess how old I am or whatever, and then like as soon as they get to like 30, I'm like, ooh, like I'm like over exaggerating.
Go
my
back,
faces
no.
about it. Yeah, even though I would not like I'm definitely close enough to 30 that that's not like offensive to me, like in real life, But yeah.
Well, speaking of getting old, I
Speaking of
did
getting
watch
old,
one other thing.
ooh,
If we have a little bit, or like a quick, brief little interlude here. Not Skong watch, I promise. One Battle After Another. Have you heard of this at all?
never,
Yeah, that's
never
what I
in my
thought.
life.
It is being called the best movie of the year. It is being called financially not doing too well. That it is Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie. He made There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights, The Master, Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza. A lot of movies that you've obviously seen.
The classics.
I can't, no cap. I haven't seen most of his movies either. I know we both had our college like cinephile run and just missed a lot of PTA movies, not gonna lie. When do you want to sit down and watch Magnolia? I don't know. Will it be on this podcast? Could be.
May as well educate ourselves while we're while we're doing
Probably
this,
like
this
the
gig.
most popular like 90s director that I haven't seen a lot of his movies. But I did see this one, and it's really good. It's about revolutionaries. It's about getting old. It's about racism. Just a fun cocktail. It's both hysterical and terrifying. I saw this movie about like government overreach and like the militarization of politics and this and that. And then the next day, Trump got every general in the US together and said you should kill all the Democrats. So it's been gotta stop going to these movies, Every time I go to the movies, it's like life imitates
Just
art as soon as I walk out of the parking lot.
Curls.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why like people want to knock all the like baby stuff that I like to watch, where like it's like all the morals are happy and sunshine. But if we want life to imitate art, like we gotta be just getting some nicer art out there,
I've been making a lot of gulag jokes lately. Like, man, what are we gonna do in the gulag? What are we gonna get up to when we get sent to the gulag for like in a Pete Buttigieg tweet or something? I don't know. Like, it's times are tough out here in the old US of A. But yeah, One Battle After Another really resonated with me for a lot of reasons. It's also just really funny. It has some like jokes in it that are hysterical. It has some really tense moments. It's got good car chases. It's got good action. It's got a karate instructor played by Benicio del Toro, who is like the most chill revolutionary guy ever, and he's just the greatest. Ocean Waves, Mallory. Ocean Waves. That's all I have to say about that. Worth seeing. Probably not in theaters in Japan. Probably not going to be in theaters in the US for too much longer. But it was a good movie.
Nice. I like when movies make good political statements, because sometimes it can be hard to come by. I'll tell you what.
Well, it's been a lot of like going to the movies and being like, we're going to vaguely poke at this or that, and it's all going to be like subtext. This movie's like, no, like they're going to a sanctuary city, and like some of the characters are trying to like help immigrants like escape the military industrial complex or what have you. It's it goes places, and it's a good movie.
Ooh, man, but it's a bad world though.
Bad World, good movie. Yeah, that's one way to put it. One battle after another. Very poignant title. It's basically like, are we going to be doing this shit for the rest of our lives? Probably. There's always going to be annoying people out there who want to, who's the pendulum's always swinging. And sometimes it's in your favor and sometimes it's not. And that's just how it is.
Totally. Yeah. That's the thing. That's like, you gotta remember that they're never not gonna be little cronies that are gonna try to take as much power as they can, and like that's not a element of the human psyche that we're just gonna fix, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's a constant fight, and sometimes we're winning and sometimes we're maybe losing a little bit.
Are we being ruled by a lot of cronies right now? Maybe.
Yeah.
Will it always be the case? Probably not.
Yeah, even though it sucks that we're losing, it's like we gotta remember, like, this fight always exists, and we're always gonna keep fighting until the day that we die. But speaking of people who died, this summer, one man, another man,
one summer after another,
one man, two high school boys, one lady, one high school girl who's really buff. All right, now I'm now I'm gonna put on my wig cap. So Sam, what did you think of the summer that Hikaru died?
Let's talk about that title for a second, right? 6 months ago, Hikaru A goes up on the mountain, slips because of the sexy tree. Didn't expect the sexy tree to be that big of a plot point, but I was happy that it made a return like 6 episodes in. Slips, breaks his neck or whatever, hits his head, and dies, right?
Yeah, big deal. Big whoop.
Big, start of the story, what have you. And then present day is like May.
Yeah.
So the summer Hikaru died is referring to the summer that we're in right now. Am I mistaken on that? I've been thinking about it the whole time I've been watching the show. The story starts in May with him like telling Hikaru Eldritch Beast, what have you, Hikaru alien-like thing, hey, I know what you are. And so Hikaru Alpha, Hikaru Original, died in the winter.
Oh.
So the summer Hikaru died, this is a game theory, like immediately at the gate.
Yes!
New Hikaru will have died by the end of the story, and the story will have wrapped up by the end of summer. Season 1 wraps up when they're just entering summer break, right?
Right. Oh, God. Yeah, that's like... Because that's kind of the vibe I've gotten, is like that Hikaru... I've been joking, like, I'm like the manic pixie dream girlness of Hikaru. Like, that's basically what he is. And there is just this feeling of like, there's no hope, there's no way he's gonna survive, even though they're like trying so hard to protect him and like come up with a way for him to survive. Like I can very much see this series being like, he ends. I also think the other meaning I think to the title is like Hikaru means like it, or the kanji is like just hikari, like light. So, like, that's what that immediately, like, when I was first introduced to the series, like, oh, the summer that the light died, like, the summer that hope died kind of vibes. You know what I mean?
Boy, Yoshiki gets more and more emo the more I learn about him,
Man, they do Yoshiki so well. He's amazing. I love his, like, the little lines that go over his eyes, and, like, the first-person perspectives from his bangs, and you can, like, see the bangs in the way. Good stuff.
Just makes me want to
really
like
nice.
Swipe the hair out. Like, I know that it's a metaphor or whatever, but I'm like, God, isn't it really hard to see? Isn't that suffocating in its own way?
Yeah. No, it's really yeah. I didn't expect to start on the Yoshiki bangs part, but I think They're very interesting because I feel like there's a lot of layers to them. Like the one part, this was something that was like very surprising to me, like a culture shock thing, like coming over to Japan. Like I knew that they were like more regimented about like students' appearance and like what like school uniforms and stuff like that. But they regulate like bangs length at school. Like not every school, but a lot of it's like seen as pretty commonplace or mundane.
It's a
to be
bigger
like,
deal.
Yeah, like they'll regulate hair length for guys at some places. I know that like when I taught in like rural Ishikawa, like there was one school where like the guys were allowed to have long hair, and like all the others like they were like regulated on that. So I don't know. There's a lot of fingernail length is policed, which like I know. Yeah, it's crazy. Right? Exactly. It's like
Not something I really thought about too much in high school. I mean, you don't want to be gross, but
yeah.
you don't really like. I can't say I was like military standard or what have you.
Exactly. It'll be like because they'll say stuff like, "Yeah, it'll get gross or it's dangerous or whatever." It's like that's true, but does this really need to be like the state or the school is policing it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's a
I
very,
will say, high school is maybe
there
the
are
last
areas
time
that-
I
yeah.
met people who had like really gross fingernails, like didn't trim their fingernails very often, and that was nasty.
Yeah, like it does happen, but that's our American right and our freedom. I don't know. I think there are areas.
Eagle screech. Hell yeah.
I think that, but yeah, like the banks thing, I think is interesting because it is like a like for him, is it a shield? Is it him hiding his real self? But also, is it like just a constant reminder of like it like. He's not getting called out at school for it, so presumably this is one of the schools where they're not as either strict on the regulations or they don't really regulate it, because that does obviously happen at some schools. But because it's like kind of a cultural norm to be like, yeah, like this is the length that bangs are, and like, oh, if you went to this like the school across the river, you'd have to have them regulated. It's like a and like he gets when he's in the like brain zone in the wig ghost monster, like and he's hearing all the like comments that people make about him and his family, and like the banks is like one of them that comes up. So he'll get.
I was gonna
little
say
gossip.
it's something you hear. It's one of the many like the townsfolk are whispering about his family moments of like,
yeah,
why is your dad mean, and why are your parents fighting, and why is your sister not going to school, and why,
yeah,
and you ugly, and you ain't got no hose, and it like it's like it's constant.
Yeah. And like the talking about the bangs, like it's also simultaneously a reminder of like the constant like encroaching regulation of like personal self-expression and like that kind of stuff that is being put onto him in this like small town.
Perhaps heteronormativity is that a leap? I don't know. I don't make assumptions here, but
don't want to make assumptions.
I think there's a lot of I'm coming in you statements in this anime. I don't know how else to say it. It's just
But Sam, but it wasn't tagged BL. Sam,
I understand that, but one of the most like explicit, strangest metaphors for penetration and sex I've ever seen, and there are a lot of strange ones. You know, you can look at that, like the Alien franchise and that xenomorph, and be like, oh, that's a penis. But there's sticking your hand in your friend / maybe lover's chest and feeling around a bit. That was a lot for episode 2.
Yeah, it's like probably the least. That's the thing, because people have fun with their like sex metaphors. Like people go crazy. They make up all sorts of stuff. You know, this is
a juicy fusion. One, I will say.
I'm thinking about fusion in Steven Universe. Like, you know, sometimes it's sex, sometimes it's the bond between a father and son, and it's not sexual. And it's like this one is like, yeah, like I'm going to put inside you and feel around and talk about how pleasurable it is for me and how pleasurable it is for you, and we're just gonna kind of linger in that.
It goes places.
Hell yeah. I'm already.
I think I sent you.
Bye bye Hikaru. The summer that my wig died.
The summer Mallory's nose numbed and died. Numbed. That's a creepy. I didn't like that. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I don't know. That threw me off. General thoughts, right? We're both new to the series.
Mm-hmm.
You did not read the manga, I assume. I gotta
No, I
check
did not.
now every week.
Yeah, no, I did not read the manga this time. I did think about it because I was like, God, I gotta figure out what's going on. But then knowing that
Well,
it's not
I did,
finished,
and now I'm gonna get you. No, I'm kidding. I did not. I read the first few chapters just to compare, just to see how the art style is handled in the manga. But no, I did not read ahead. That would have been a funny
gotcha.
twist.
Yeah, would have honestly.
But what I'm getting at is we're both new to it. General impressions. I would say for me, anime is really pretty. Love the blander like character artwork. Like they look very normal as school children or what have you, but then the anime puts so much emphasis on like the character art that little subtle changes in like body language and expression and what have you are sold really well, which is good for a story that's really internal and a lot about like repressed emotions and people saying things they don't mean and what have you. Music good, opening good, ending really good, like that a lot. Yeah, this has been a fun ride for 12 episodes.
Definitely. Yeah, I think like especially you sent me a message about it while we were like watching about the subtle like body language shifts and facial expressions. I think do so much work. The fact that we're all coming away from the series like loving Yoshiki and thinking he's such a good character is like 100% credited to like the fact that they're able to like illustrate those things, because this is a man of few words. And yet,
he's like what I want to talk about the most, but I want to get general thoughts first. But yeah, no, I'm ready to dive into Yoshiki.
Yeah, because you're just always tuned into like what he's feeling and what he's thinking, and they're playing with the ambiguity in places, but you're also like pretty much locked into like, whew, this guy, So it's like I think that is really well done, and yeah, like I like the bland character designs. I like that we are not having to resort to the anime trope where we have to color everyone's hair blue and pink and red, which, yes, I like. I like characters with fun colored hair, but it's also like it's nice to appreciate like, yeah, these human beings look distinct enough, just like human beings.
It's the
in
rare
the real
time
world.
where you're looking at a full classroom and you don't immediately know every main character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you the main character like pick up like, yeah, like all the minor characters have like brown hair or whatever. But yeah, like except Hikaru, which I don't know. Part of me was like, it'd be cool if he was just like straight up actually an albino character. You know what I mean? But it's like I guess albinism is genetic, but like I think his father and grandfather both have white hair.
Yeah, I assume that's just like
less.
it is a hereditary trait, right?
Yeah, which is also like kind of just accepted in anime. Like, this is the pink-haired family,
right?
This is the red-haired family, But yeah, no, it's cool character designs. Like, Yoshiki doesn't feel generic. He does feel like this like kind of hulking like emo, yeah, I'm getting sidetracked with Yoshiki. Do we want to?
Well, let me.
Before we get in, we should establish Hikaru terminology, because we were talking about it. So online, the discourse has been like, we call the monster one like Hikaru in quotes, and then we call the like original one just Hikaru.
I'll be sure to say the quotes. Yeah, no, that works for an audio podcast.
I feel like OG Hikaru and Hikaru, because we're gonna talk about the monster more. Because
when I think Hikaru, I think of the monster, which is maybe a trick that the anime plays on you, right? Like as Yoshiki becomes more familiar with, or like he resolves that problem in his mind of mixing the two, it becomes the monster Hikaru becomes more of an individual. In my mind, I just start calling him Hikaru, which is fun,
Yeah, no, it's definitely playing with your feelings about that. Like, it's really building a lot to just like, you feel like any moment all of this stuff is gonna get snatched out of your hands.
Oh, big time,
and it
yeah.
feels like inevitably it will once we get towards like later chapters or
At some
season
point
2 or
his
whatever.
mother's gonna like either his mother already knows or that's gonna be like a huge kerfuffle. I'm talking about OG Hikaru's mother with Hikaru,
Right.
to use our terminology that we've
Yeah.
established.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is gonna be very brutal. Yeah, the towns get like, oh my god, Maki, the like your classic buzz cut, you know, our straight kid who would be the protagonist of like a regular anime or whatever. Like those
Baseball
kids are
manga
gonna
protagonist,
react.
basically. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. um, it's gonna be interesting, but yeah, so far everyone who's found out has been accepting. Interestingly enough,
So far.
yeah, so far so good, right? You know, no harm,
Yeah.
no foul.
I want to
Only
get
a little bit of hearing loss. Here and
Yeah.
there.
Well, that's. It's like, is the hearing loss metaphorical? Is it referring to her like spiritual connection, or can she not hear out of her right ear anymore? It seems like a little bit of both.
Yeah.
She does sense spirits after that encounter. I was worried that she lost her ability forever, but
Right. Like right
'cause she-
after it was introduced.
yeah, which would be sad. I have a lot to say about her as well. I want to avoid the thing that we often do with this podcast, which is we both finish whatever we're watching, and it's like, I gotta talk about the last 3 episodes. Taking us back a little bit to like
Okay.
first half of the series, something I struggled with is Yoshiki as the main character in the first half. I came to like him a lot, but the story does a really cool thing where it starts you like immediately with the confrontation with the being that we are referring to as Hikaru. Like, I thought when I heard the premise of this manga that it would be 40 chapters, an entire season of Yoshiki being like, "You're an alien. That's an alien, right?" Like internally,
Wait a
and not
second.
confronting
Yeah.
the god eldritch being that is Yoshiki, or that is Hikaru. It doesn't do that. It's the first scene, or like the second scene, and that's really cool. But it does have a slight problem, which is I couldn't tell for quite a while if Yoshiki has always been, a bit of an emo sad boy, or if he's crashing out because he's been keeping a secret for 6 months.
Right.
And the flashbacks that they pepper in throughout do a good job of establishing that, like, no, he's kind of always been a little reclusive, and a lot of that has to do with his identity, and a lot of that has to do with, like, maybe being the lesser of the two friends in terms of, like, he's attached himself to someone who is, like, a shining beacon to the community and to classmates and whatever. He's, like, he's the athletic, charming guy's friend, right? And so he's going to be sullen no matter what. But early on, I was like, is he always freaking out, or is it because of the secret he's harboring? And once you start to realize he's known for 6 months, and like you start to get all these different reveals, I got my arms around the character a little bit better.
I see. That's interesting. I don't know what it is that I just immediately was like, oh yeah, this is like who this guy is, like the kind of like brooding, sad, like I guess I just didn't associate it as much with the grief, just because I don't know. I think the voice acting is really good. Like this is me being, oh, I speak Japanese, but like it's like I feel like he, like the way he would talk, like he just sounds like so annoyed all the time, in his like default state. And I'm like, that just feels like a real guy that that's just kind of like, don't bother me, like like I'm having to put up with all your shenanigans, crazy manic pixie dream girl. Like that was just immediately the vibe that I was trapped into. So I think I just had an easier time like accepting that. But it is, I mean, it is a good point. Like it's like the things about his identity get like more and more explicit like as the series go on. Like at the beginning it's just kind of like you know, him teasing about like, do you like me? Like it's making the like subtext pretty clear of like there's some sort of romantic tension that's like gone on in this like friendship.
Right.
But, like,
I'm not, you know, as the token straight of
Right.
this podcast, I'm not oblivious. Like I can understand
Exactly.
that like those themes are like front and center from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Sticking your hand in your friend's chest aside. Like I didn't need that
Yeah.
to be that explicit for me to get it, right? I think I messaged you when I was like 3 episodes in, and I'm like, this is so much more gay than Heartstopper, and they haven't even kissed yet.
Yeah, you said like you're like he needs to take him to dinner first, like.
But
yeah.
it's more to me like, was he always this gloomy, right?
Right.
And you see that the answer is yes, but also no. Like he is a little bit more of a sunny personality pre-Hikaru, OG Hikaru dying, but he's also like always had a sullen streak. He's clearly always been holding something back from those around him, including OG Hikaru. In a lot of ways, it seems like he's more forthcoming with Hikaru that we have now. And I now feel like I completely understand his character, and I've seen like every facet of it. And even in the final 2 episodes, when you're getting his relationship with his dad, like it's like, oh, there's even more layers to peel over here. And
totally,
not to jump ahead, but yeah, no, like I think he's a fantastic character. I think Alien Hikaru is a fantastic character. And now the person I understand the least is OG Hikaru.
Totally, yeah. The developing mystery about, you know, his personality, and because it's kind of presented almost in a way that like, oh, he was just this like normal dude, and because of what Alien Hikaru is imitating is the mask that OG Hikaru like wore. So it's like,
so your assumption is that OG Hikaru was like that. He was just like boisterous and fun and whatever, you know.
like my feeling when I watched like the first episode was I was like, okay, original Hikaru was straight, and this Alien Hikaru is, you know, at least open to this like whatever you want to call their relationship. That's
See,
like a little bit deeper.
I did not get the impression that original Hikaru was straight. This is interesting to me.
I don't think that anymore, but I did.
No, I think it more now because they have a.
Oh, interesting. There we go.
Well, because they have a thing in one of the final episodes where they're talking about Hikaru is talking about all the differences he has with OG Hikaru, and Yoshiki is talking about it as well, and they're having like a showdown of like how much well do we know this person that you are now have become, and it's like, you know, I like watermelon, he liked. Or I like ice cream, he liked watermelon, you know, whatever.
She wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts.
I can wrap you in my tentacles, he's on the bleachers, you know? And but it's kept just ambiguous enough, right? Where it's like, there's more ambiguity than I expected, because I was expecting it to be like the reveal of like, oh no, Hikaru also loved you. Because Yoshiki constantly thinks, OG Hikaru, excuse me. Because Yoshiki always is thinking like, you're much more forthcoming than he ever was. And is that true, or is that his insecurity? And I thought we were going to get a reveal in the final episode of season 1 that like, no, Hikaru always had feelings for you. But instead what we get is like, girls were always interested in Hikaru, and yet he never ended up with any of them. Interesting detail. However, he had a crush on this girl right before he died. Interesting detail. And now I'm just like, I don't know what to believe.
Exactly. Yeah, that's I'm still like up in the air of like
I assume
tough,
that's
man.
Yoshiki's insecurity that's like putting too much in on this, like whatever the most recent, you know, potential crush that Hikaru had before he died.
Exactly.
That's where I'm leaning.
Unfortunate reality of like, if Hikaru lived, you might have seen that crush was like maybe a short-lived thing or whatever, but instead it's like immortalized
or a cover.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. Or it's or he's bisexual or something, you know. It's like, it's very, very up in the air, and the original Hikaru is not there to advocate for himself or explain
I could
things.
have sworn to you that by the time we got to episode 12, there'd be like a diary, or the
A letter.
New Hikaru would be like, hey, I do know this about old Hikaru, and I've been holding back because I didn't want to hurt you, XYZ. Like, I really thought that was going to happen, and may still, but...
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like, it feels like of the mysteries in this series, like, building on what was going on in, like, original Hikaru's life is definitely, like, one of the central things that they're, like, adding up to. Like, the like, why did he go up the mountain? Like, was he doing the ritual? Like, how in deep, like, what other stuff was explained about what happens with his family? And it's like,
right. We know he was doing the ritual because
yeah.
he had the head. He had the Hiki,
right.
like, shrunken head, but we don't know how bought in was he to it.
Totally. Like, what were his intentions going up there? And, like, did he... Because he wished... Oh, man, what did he wish for? He wished for Yoshiki to be happy. And what was it? For the town to be protected, I think?
The main one, I think, is that, like, yeah, his friends don't miss him, essentially.
Yeah, but no, it's like it's very it's a very interesting exploration of this character. Like, I don't know, the idea of this thing trying to be this character that is impersonating the mask that he wore in order to become him, and then likely facing the same issue. Like, the mask itself is like indicative. It's like reproducing the emotional issues, the genuine emotional issues that come with wearing a mask, because you're copying the same mask, even if you don't have the same initial trauma of, like, the reason that he lost the mask, which seemingly for Oji Hikaru was related to the death of his dad. But Alien Hikaru, like, does not know. It cannot feel. It cannot dream. It is, you know.
It says it has no emotions, and yet it's crying, and, you know.
Right. It's very...
And having new experiences.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a fun dynamic.
Very, very ambiguous. Do we want to talk about the Eldritch alien and, like, trying to crack that? Because it's such a... Like, you know, at the beginning you're like, is it lying? And I trust it
in the beginning,
so much
it
more.
Totally is lying, right? Because it murders the neighbor and doesn't tell him, and this and that.
Exactly.
Throughout the whole show, it's lying to itself, where it's like, well, I don't understand love or anything else, but man, am I really ripped up about my relationship with Yoshiki all the time? Like, it's very narrow. Like, it still makes surprising choices, like almost murdering their friend, like, without a second thought. But it does experience all these human emotions and problems and insecurities or what have you, but only relating to one specific person so far.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Very... Man, it's so... You know what it reminded me of so much, and I think that's what, like, kind of hooked me, is it's kind of almost a trope or something that, like, comes up in a lot of media. And I feel like it's the classic version that I envision. I was trying to think of it. Maybe you can have, like, better pulls for this thing, but it's like the example of where you have a, like, usually male protagonist, and then they have, like, a fake anime waifu that, like, becomes real, and then it's like kind of a monkey. Either it's a monkey paw curl type of story. The only examples I could think of were, like, there's a Gravity Falls episode where he gets, like, an online digital girlfriend called Giffany that is, like, walking around in the real world.
You put me on the spot here. The only thing that came to mind, like, immediately, even though this is a common trope, is My Internet Girlfriend, the Disney Channel original movie, whatever it was called.
I have not seen this, but this was amazing.
Oh, you have, but I don't know what it's called.
Ex Machina.
No, not Ex Machina. There's a Disney Channel movie.
I know that's different. I was just remembering it's a completely separate example. My Internet Girlfriend, the Disney Channel movie. It's
something like that. It's like My Girlfriend is a Computer or something. I can't remember what it's called. Pixel Perfect?
Her. Pixel Perfect. Her. That's the quintessential example. Like it's like that kind of story of, like, okay, you have this, like, perfect thing that was, like, built for you, and it's like the ideal partner, but then ethical complications. This thing is gaining
Well, yeah,
sentience.
as it gains sentience, it becomes less the perfect partner because it's less subservient to you, and then that is a whole
Exactly.
bag of things that a lot of stories don't address, and then some do, and some the whole point is that, like Ex Machina.
Right.
But yeah, it's Hikaru, Alien Hikaru's got a lot going on,
Yeah, and
and it's
it's
very much
interesting
not the
because
perfect partner. uh,
yeah, it's interesting though because like at the same time it's like Yoshiki's like monstrous I know we said we're not jumping straight to the end, but like
oh,
Yoshiki's like
we've done enough. We can jump.
Yoshiki's declaration where Yoshiki becomes the monster, I feel like is like the perfect articulation of that, where it's like he is being possessive. He wants like you kind of get this vibe of like, does he on one hand he loves and wants to protect this thing, and he relates to and empathizes with this monster because he also feels like dehumanized, and he also feels like not accepted in his identity, and like
Mm-hmm.
that he constantly has to hide and he can't find a place to be, so he's like, empathizing with it. But at the same time it's like, it's almost like, yeah, now I have this person shaped like Hikaru that will let me touch him. You know what I mean? It's like, is this like a
it went
sicko
less
thing?
in that direction than I expected because
Right.
there's so many Yoshiki scenes where it's like I'm gonna mourn the original Hikaru, and I'm glad that the
Mm-hmm.
story had like the author of this story had enough emotional intelligence to be like, we can't gloss over that. Like, your friend
Yeah.
died and you're aware of it, and you can't tell anybody. And then
Mm.
we get like the quicker version of that with Asako at the end, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's good. That's like realistic that this person, even if this person is predispositioned to not necessarily immediately like be horrified of spirits or whatever Hikaru is, she's still going to
Mm-hmm.
be sad because now she knows for sure that her friend died and her friend's been dead for 6 months. And it's like,
Yeah.
it, the, in many ways, something I love in any story that does this, and in Summer Hikaru Died does a lot, where the character reacts in more of a realistic way than I even anticipated. Like, most of the time
Mm.
when you're watching fiction, it's like the friction when you're watching when you're experiencing a story is where it's like, that's not how a person would react, or that's not how I would react. But when the story is thinking and the author is thinking so much about the character emotions that they surprise you with how genuine they are, that's some
Mm.
good stuff. That was really good.
Totally. Yeah. No, it's that I had almost the exact same reaction to that scene. I was just like, wow, like this is so real all of a sudden. And then like she also serves as a really good contrast to Yoshiki, because you kind of are, now you're looking back on Yoshiki's actions and be like, he accepted that pretty quick, and like, yes, he's been dark and gloomy and we've had scenes of him grieving, but like he hasn't really had this like same outpourings of emotion for Hikaru, and it's almost like you get more of a sense of like what he's doing with this person is not just like, you're like a glorified kind of like sex doll basically, was like my
Mm-hmm.
initial read on it. And it's like, no, you are literally like keeping him from moving on from the death of Hikaru, because you're like, oh, you're just this new like I can kind of
Well, and then
there.
Alien Hikaru realizes that and starts to feel
Right.
guilty, and it's like, wow, this
Right.
is really like, as Alien Hikaru becomes more human or takes on more human characteristics, everything just gets even more messy. When it's like
Totally.
some of the like dangers of their relationship kind of simplify, right? Where it's like, all right, well, Hikaru's not going to murder their friend, and Hikaru's not going to murder random people anymore, and Hikaru is going to break off part of its being and not weaken itself, Like, these are
Yeah.
things that like smooth out the my new friend is an alien problem, but they,
Mm-hmm.
as the alien becomes more of a human, everything just becomes so messy and soap opera-y in just such a great way. And
Right.
it's deliciously intriguing, and like, what would you do?
Totally. And it's also crazy how the balance of like the stakes and the horror as well, of like in the early like episodes, it's like when Yoshiki and Hikaru are having disagreements, you're like, at any moment this thing could just eat you. You know what I mean? And then it's all over. Like there's that kind of constant tension. Can you really trust it? And then like as you trust it more, it becomes weaker because it's becoming more human and it's like losing the part of itself. And now all of a sudden, like these threats that it was able to dispatch, like the episode, I can't remember if it was the second or third episode, but where they're walking through the woods and there's like that weird like swinging head monster that and then like after he dispatches of it, he's being like, don't look at anyone else, only look at me. You know what I mean? Like that
they both have a lot of moments
moment
of like very toxic possessiveness throughout the series.
Yeah. And it's like
but like one wrong move and Yoshiki could have become like this being's slave, and this slave could have like this being could have never reached emotional maturity enough to be like to feel bad for its actions, right? Like it has learned the ability to feel guilty just in time for Yoshiki to be so bought in that it's like, no, don't go back to the mountain.
Yeah, like it's that moment where oh my god, I think Kurebayashi, the older woman,
yes, the medium.
Yes, the medium. Yeah, she, like the moment where she's sitting across the table with him having the mental breakdown, and then she has the thought that was kind of the subtext for a lot of the horror and has, like I said, like kind of subsided a little since Hikaru like weakened himself. But then she suddenly has the thought of like, I need to like kill this like he's emotionally unstable and like one wrong move and he just eats the whole village. You know what I mean? Like she
anytime
says
it shows like the visuals like cut and you see like the spirit medium detective view of like Hikaru as a bunch of squiggles, and you're like,
right,
oh, this is still a ticking time bomb. But I love that she makes the same quote unquote mistake that she did with her own husband of like sympathizing with this being, but we know, or at least we hope, that it's not a mistake because we have the internal monologue of Hikaru,
right?
But like it's beautiful to me that like she chooses to spare him and that Asako chooses to like accept him even without that context, right? Like it takes Yoshiki a while to get there, but like these other characters who are brought into the fold show a lot of empathy and humanity in these decisions to just be like, this is like a sad child at the end of the day.
Right. And it's like, it's also so interesting because their ability to do that is probably largely dependent on the context that Yoshiki did it initially. Like, because Yoshiki was the way that he was and like, was able to teach all of these emotions to it, that and like took the risk initially of like not writing it out. Like they've built up enough character development for these other people to be able to look and be like, yeah, I kind of see the shape of like what's going on here, like let me accept this thing. So I don't know, it's very a lot of human drama, a lot of very fucking interesting.
And then Tanaka's just in the middle of all of it, and it's like, what's your deal? Are you
what is his deal?
You're happy that it's weakened itself because you want to like subsume it somehow for a mysterious company that you're maybe working with, or maybe you're not really aligned with, and like, what does any of that mean? And why are you also a protagonist of your own story, and you're like selling your organs off to do cool rituals? Like, what is any of this? And you're blind, but your sunglasses let you see, and you have a hamster, and like, oh man,
there's. What a mysterious guy. I think like he borders on the line of like a little bit more of just saying shit that I don't understand, and I would be like, I hate this character, but I do kind of love him.
It's just enough that I love it. Like he's just quirky
he's so cool.
enough where it's like he's singing to anime music and he's sending like brisk reports back home that are a little sarcastic, and he's got the old men of the town like wrapped around his finger, and like I like that because they're annoying, and it's just like it's fascinating. He's got so many like he reminds me of like of Gaian in Monogatari, where it's like he's got so many trinkets and techniques and knowledge that the other characters don't have, and it's like, what's your deal? What are you on about?
exactly. But except like he does, I'm way less annoyed by him than Guyan because I'm just like yeah, he's I don't know, he's fun. You kind of get his vibe, but yeah, it's just still a mystery. Like how if he, because like I'm like, is he the main villain? Is he gonna be their saving grace? Like it's real tough, and like it seems like they're due for a more because he's the one at the end, right, that walks up and gives him the salamander
On the
floaty.
beach.
So it's like, yeah, it seems like they're due for a more like subdued interaction potentially, as opposed to their
Well, we
like
haven't seen him
initial meeting of
talk
the
with
three of
Hikaru
them.
at all, right?
Right. Yeah, like as opposed to like him cutting its head off. Like I think this is the first time we're gonna get like an actual conversation and be like, okay, you cut this thing's head off and then just like let it be in the hospital. So it's like, what is your angle, man? What are you waiting for?
What's he up to? You know, what's he
Um,
got going on?
Can I have a gay theory? When this is not a theory about if a character is gay. This is a theory about if a thing in a show is gay fan service. So I was talking to my friend who is not into men. I'm not into men. You're not into men. So I feel like we don't really get what's going on all the time. There's a part where he walks in to the like room and he's like, I took off my shoes or whatever, and then it just like shows his sock with a hole in it and he like wiggles his toe around. Is that like a sex thing?
I interpreted that as like, I did not interpret it as that. I interpreted it as another, like, even when he's like following the traditions or rules that these like stuffy old men who are not going to solve anything like want him to, like I think it's just an extension of them focusing on the wrong thing, right? Like, he's rude, he's here to maybe save the town, but his methods, we don't understand them, and
he doesn't
and he doesn't take his shoes off, and he's disheveled. Well, in reality, apparently he's like trading appendixes and kidneys and what have you for barriers and bell demons and all these different things.
It just felt like the thing of like, oh, like, this female character is very casual and laid back, so she's gonna take off her shirt while she's in her apartment. Right. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, it is building all this character. Is this a thing or not? It's an open question. Zero problem if that's what it is. I just want, if there are any men likers in the comments, I would love to be in line.
We're gonna find out like why he has a similar mark on his neck, right?
For sure, yeah.
And so definitely one of the most only thing things that it can tell us is it going to be like a guy or a gal monster that put it on,
totally.
that mixed him, as they say in the show.
And it could also be like even if it was a girl, it like serves to extend the metaphor of like forbidden like relationships or whatever. But yeah, it's like, what was his history with that thing? To me, the more interesting question is like, was it like was he Yoshiki, or was he like, did he have a more hostile relationship with this thing? Like, is it like their relationship went wrong, so he wants this relationship to go well? I don't know.
He does think
the
to
Mark
himself
thing,
that Yoshiki reminds, or he says it out loud, I think, that Yoshiki reminds him of himself. Which was interesting to me up until the point where we really get to know Yoshiki's father, and then I'm like, this is the best parallel character ever. Like, don't end up sad and like melancholy and closed off. He's got the quote of the show to me, and he's in like 30 seconds of this series.
Which was that one?
He put it all in perspective for me, where he had a quote about folks desperate to belong probably never had a home to begin with. And he's talking about himself and his inability to show his wife love or what have you. But he's also talking about Yoshiki, who wants nothing more than to leave town. And so, but also wants nothing more than to be accepted. And so his home has never felt like a home to him, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's perfect. And it also applies to Hikaru, who has no ability to stay in one place because of this like lightning rod-esque attraction that evil, or not evil, but dangerous spirits have to him, that it seems like there's nowhere for him to call home, at least in the form that he's taken currently.
Right. Yeah, like he just inevitably will attract these impurities, but then they're also all related to the town. But like if he went to a
And it's all
different
related
town,
to
would he
like
just attract
stigma and
those
yeah.
impurities? Yeah, I don't know. It's the like thing of God. Yeah, like I did not like him wanting to actively go back to the mountain is the biggest moment of like, wow, this thing is not just like an evil, sinister monster that we're supposed to hate and be suspicious of. It's like such
It's when
a
like
full
you have
circle moment.
beyond a reasonable doubt. It is not. It's. I still think it's probably withholding some information from
Yeah.
Yoshiki, but it isn't. It isn't pure malevolent, right? Like it's willing to die on
Yeah.
the sword or what have you.
Like the memories fuzzy thing is the biggest. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, man.
Okay. Is it fuzzy or do you want it to be fuzzy? Like, let's get to the bottom of this here.
And it could also be even related to like the, it's not lying in the sense of like intentionally wanting to lie, but because as established it kind of doesn't have a great read on emotions and what those are. Like it's not seeing that there's an emotional fog that's difficult to like not realizing.
Well, and it's
like,
also
oh,
not
this,
in control
this
of
is
its,
just I don't want
it's not in control of its actions to a certain extent at this point. Like it is falling back on instinct, and this thing's instinct is to like eat souls, and it's like, oh, that's bad.
Totally. Yeah, like it has certain instincts, like or even like the moment where Yoshiki tries to kill him. Crazy episode.
Did you see it coming?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Did you see that coming?
I'll keep you in suspense just to say what I was going to make the point about the instincts, which is that when he asks for Hikaru to kill him, he's having the like, I have to grant a wish, and you're like, oh, that's one of his instincts as well. Yeah, it's like if it has to follow a request, and it has to devour souls, and it also seems to have just like this insatiable desire to have this bond with Yoshiki, and they're all like fighting each other. It's
right, and that seems to be related to the wish of OG Hikaru and potentially the feelings of OG Hikaru, but we're not really sure. And
totally, did it just
it's all mixed together
like, get those feelings because of the memories,
and also because of the new experiences it's made in the last, not the 6 months like gap doesn't seem like too much happened, but in the last like few weeks that we've been hanging out with these characters.
Yeah, like it's since when they open up to each other, which is the moment when Yoshiki like asks if like you're not the real Hikaru, like seems like the reason why we start there is that is the start of their real relationship,
Right.
But yeah, whether I predicted that he was going to kill Hikaru or tried to kill Hikaru, I very much was like, I was just like, he's gonna die, he's gonna ask Hikaru to kill him. Or something like that. Like he thinks
he's going to die, right? The phone call makes it really obvious that he's like, I was more thinking it was going to be murder-suicide, and instead it was like, I'm going to try and kill this thing and might die in the process. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that episode. That is like, it's some of the strongest direction in the whole series with the choir practice and just like getting like vignettes of the town and getting to know Yoshiki's family a little bit more, right when it's like going to pull the rug out from under you that like he thinks he's about to die, and it's like, this is good. This is good stuff.
That was easily probably my favorite moment in the series, and just in terms of like, because like the whole thing about Yoshiki's family is how sad they are the whole time. Like his younger sister doesn't go to school. His mom and dad are just stressed and arguing all the time and isolated, and it's like
the
showing
community's
like
really mean and like spiteful towards them.
And it's just showing a day, and I think it's that moment is capped off so well. That made me really emotional, honestly, when the mom just has like a quote about like where she's like driving the daughter, and she's like, "Is it really okay that I don't go to school?" And she's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't force yourself to go to school." And it's like that to me sets the tone for that whole montage of like these are just people existing and everyone's happy, and there's no reason that anyone should have to die. You know what I mean? Like you just
and they're
but
and like
you know that it's not going to go that way.
Not perfect, right? But they're making it through, and there are these glimpses of happiness or what have you, like the sister and the mom working together at the hair stylist, and the dad like being a bit of a recluse or what have you, but like having some pride in his work, like cutting down the tree.
Yeah, he's
And
like
knowing that
bonding
there's a
with
rift with his son, but like still reflecting on his
yeah.
son throughout it.
He's like bonding with like this like mentee or whatever or like this like junior logger or whatever that he's working with, and it's like you're like, he hasn't fixed his family problems, but he's having a moment of social bonding and happiness and connection in his day that he probably doesn't typically get, you know?
Right, and it's like a subtle way of being like, no, his son's always on his mind, and then you get that confirmation later when Yoshiki goes to the hospital after the old man explodes, and Hikaru explodes, and you see him like having run to the front door, like clearly he got the news at some point on the job, and then like ran home, and you see him just out of breath, and he doesn't hug him, he doesn't really ask if he's okay, but Yoshiki in that moment, his dad is like naked to him, like the emotion is like on his face, and it makes them both uncomfortable, which is in itself really beautiful. Like their relationship, I did not expect in the 11th hour, the 11th episode,
totally.
to be like great, but it is great. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's so many of the early episodes are just so focused on the kids. Like you really, like the family fighting is like alluded to, and it just almost seems like it's gonna be a throwaway background detail almost. But
his dad was so absent in the first half of the show that for a while I couldn't keep straight which of their dads died. I was like, did Yoshiki's dad die and I've only seen him in flashbacks, or is he around? It's like, no, he's in the background there when they're talking about the sister not going to school. I'm like, oh yeah, he's alive. But there were legitimately moments where I got them mixed up.
Absolutely. Like I was talking to my friend about it, and I think I was on like episode 8 probably. And I was like, are they divorced or are they just like fighting? They're like, no, they're still like living in the same house. I was like, oh wow. Like, yeah, no, it was really crazy stuff. I really like those moments too. But like that, it just made me emotional. Like the day, because it's the day where they both skipped school as well, and the daughter's not going to school either. And I'm like, it's just like, it feels very human to me of like...
The parents have like a shocking amount of trust in their children in a way that is atypical to like a high school drama story, right?
And refreshing, honestly. You're like, thank you for respecting them as people, you know? Or like there's even that moment where like the mom is like kind of trying to confront Yoshiki like after the whole hospital dealio, and she's like, why did you even go to that old man's house in the first place? Like, are you involved in some weird stuff? And like Yoshiki just like gets up and leaves, and like the mom doesn't follow him or hound him or like try to confront him later. Like she's like, okay, you don't want to talk about it. Like,
now maybe to a fault, right? Like it isn't ultimately good that his sister is isolating herself, but the parents, the villain of this story is the town, it seems like, at least in this side story of their family, right? Like it's the why aren't you cutting your bangs? It's, hey, why aren't you got a girlfriend yet? You know, it's those kind of questions. And I love it when you get these like faceless relatives that come in for the first day of summer, because that's such an experience, right? Of like, you're out of school, let's go to your aunt's house or whatever, and have to deal with like all the questions of like, oh, how was 7th grade, or you know, like that kind of experience. And he looks so miserable. He's just sitting there looking at his can of juice or whatever, and the sister's just getting like, they immediately put a baby in the sister's hands and are like, well, maybe you don't have to go back to school, but when are you getting married? And it's like, what are you doing here? Like, this is horrible.
My God, that scene was so... They're like, make sure you also have a baby.
It's just like... jam-packed in like 45 seconds.
And that specifically, I've heard people say to very young girls when I was living in...
Yes, I have heard that as well.
Like, Ishikawa. Like, yes, also, like, where we're from as well in the South, like, is not uncommon. But, like, it also just reminded me of, like, Ishikawa. Like, I've just been in areas of, like, and one day you're going to grow up and you are going to have a baby. Like, they always... There's just this little, like, undertone of, like, and you're not going to not do it, right? Right.
I had a relative like this week essentially imply that I should date dumber women because it's easier to start a family with them, and I was like, all right, this is a conversation that I am stuck in right now. Like,
you're like, it's totally, man. Yeah. Like, Ooh, yeah, no, I the one thing, like, I love how the series does I feel like they don't overdo it, but every time someone drops the like, oh, you must be looking for a girlfriend, or like, oh, I wonder
Hmm.
if it's a girl, like with
It's just
specifically
enough to
with
know that it's
Yoshiki.
driving that character crazy. Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's
100%.
just this twist of the knife. You just like his reaction to it. It's so subtle, but he's just like you just hear the wee woo, wee, woo. Like it's
Bum,
like
ba-dum, ba-dum, da. Yeah, no, it's 100%. It is
yeah.
a Kill
That
Bill
was one of my
moment where the screen might as well flash red.
one of my favorite moments with Kurebayashi, the medium, who I really liked. Like
I thought for sure
she
that character was going to
is.
be dead in like the fourth episode. I'm so glad that
Oh
she
my
stuck
god!
around
Right.
and is maybe my favorite character. Yeah, she's great. But
She's
please continue.
awesome. Yeah, like I liked the scene where they're bonding, and he finally has someone he can tell about the fact that he's like interacting with this monster and that like is maybe understanding him. And then like right like near the tail end of the conversation, she's like, "Wow, you really care about it. Is it a girl?" And he just his just mood is just like it's it's just his eyes are just going insane. They're like, oh man, yeah. We kind of
Let me ask you
dodged
this,
the
right? You and I, we
yeah.
get real.
Uh-huh.
We put our psychology caps on. We get really into the characters and motivations whenever we talk about a series.
Yes.
This is also a spooky series, and it is October.
Right.
I want to
Yeah.
hear what were the moments in this series where you were like scared or really tense, right? Because I think the series starts very tense and then kind of as their relationship blossoms and improves, like it loses a little bit of that tension, but then it brings it back in unexpected ways. And I want to hear where
Hmm.
Mallory, resident crybaby, resident scaredy cat, like where were you like, oh, I don't like what I'm watching right now?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because I feel like I was surprised by how little I was like turning away. Like I think part of it was like I'm just invested in this character writing and all that kind of stuff. But there were like a couple moments, I think, especially like you're talking in those like later episodes, like there's the moment where he's in the they're in like a diner and he's suddenly getting attacked by some strange monster. There's a moment where
The Bell
oh my
Beast.
god. Yeah, where is he? The like wig monster, I wasn't as scared as I thought I was gonna be. Like I was really grossed out by the hair thing. I was more scared when it was attacking the sister,
Me too,
than
because
I
it's such a
was
cold
when
open. Like it's like this character we
right.
barely know is about to be in peril.
Yeah, and you're like they could just completely kill the sister out of nowhere, you know. But like
I've got one like
yeah,
where I hadn't been scared for like 4 episodes, and then suddenly I was very scared all of a sudden.
hit me.
The naked man in the courtyard with the knife,
Oh yeah,
who's just going,
Jesus.
"Hi, hi, hi!" Like I was like, "Oh, I'm scared now." Like I am very tense all of a sudden.
That was too real because like you never been in public where someone's like really trying to get your attention and you're like let me just and then they're like hey you know and you're like whoa like
Yeah, like not to be anti like I'm. People have a lot of mental health crises, and that's very sad. It is something that you're often confronted with living in a city, and there's no easy way to deal with it. And it's like the feeling of someone trying to get your attention while clearly being off is a very scary
mm,
feeling. And the
right
imagery in that scene of him looking like detailless and so small in that courtyard, but you can just see the glint of a knife, and obviously he's naked, and that's weird. Like that image, I was like, whoa, that's freaky. Um,
yeah
and I love
and
that
it's also yeah
Hikaru has to tell him that's a person, like everyone can see this, and then that's a twist that's like, whoa.
yeah and that's I love it we have zero like insight into that I feel like other than I guess he like cuts does he start from his neck when he starts cutting himself
They just say
like
that he sliced his neck open and died,
yeah so I
and that he
guess
hurt a
it's that
teacher. There's a lot of little comments that are
yeah
like the incidents are ramping up, and like the whole town is starting to get haunted, and
mm,
like their friend baseball manga protagonist just gets his arm broken off screen, and it's like that's bad.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, you got in a fight with someone or something. You're like, we only ever see him happy. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
what is?
Well, all of
Yeah,
a sudden, yeah, you just see him like sullen on in the dugout, and you're like, oh, he got attacked by someone who was possessed by one of these spirits, and like, what happened to that kid? And is that kid now like
yeah,
about to die? And what is this scary spirit on the railroad crossing? What is the person who got the VTuber or the YouTuber who got murdered at the tunnel? Like, what's going on here?
a lot of mysteries. Yeah, what do you think about the mystery aspect of this? Because I think like it was very frustrating. Yeah, I guess sorry to put a cap on the horror thing. Like that also, even that I'm kind of able to watch this because it's in such low definition. I think
Mm-hmm.
that it was a lot more watchable. The thing I liked the least was when there was some number two stuff, which is more I guess like comedic, but also just kind
With
of
the
being
cat?
gross. Yeah, I didn't like that. I just don't like that.
No,
And
I
the hamster
understand, but
too.
oh yeah, there was the hamster. I was
I
sitting
was
there
like, I
going
don't.
like, wash your hand, like
Yeah.
as that scene was going on.
Oh, he's just walking home way too casual. I'm like, all right, bro.
I agree.
But yeah, I think
Well, I will say
yeah,
it was
the
it was
mystery.
less spooky and scary than I expected because all I've seen for like 4 years is manga panels out of context with Hikaru's face melting off, and I'm like, well, that looks like a
Mm,
creepy manga. I gotta read it at some point, and it was less body horror than I expected. And then I
yeah,
went to
I
the manga to be like, is this more graphic in the manga? And as far as I could tell, no. So I was surprised.
I think you kind of get used to it with like it's creepy a lot in the first scene, and then I think you're just like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, that's just what he does, and it just gets a little more tolerable. I think
And you
over
get
time. So
random
yeah,
creepy images like rotting
mhm,
flowers and dead cicadas and dragonflies and
yeah.
whatnot, and it sets a good tone. But yeah, I was not as scared as I thought I was.
Yeah,
I thought I would be.
I was one of the more upsetting things. There's like a bug that was just like wriggling on the ground for a really long time, and there's some
Mm.
shadow like looming over it, and you don't know what's gonna happen. But I think just the tension of that scene, I was like, I don't want to know where this is going.
Well, and it's always
um,
paired with like a tense conversation happening in the like in the actual reality or what have you.
totally, totally, totally. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's the horror. Didn't ruin me too badly.
But the
The mystery
mystery, right?
aspect, yeah. What do you think about it's to me it's like because of where it ends off, and this is what we were kind of talking about is like I've having consumed a lot of like anime recently and like anime made of like mangas that haven't wrapped up. It's like
Mm-hmm.
man, it is frustrating when a story doesn't end, and we don't know how it's gonna end, and
What does Don
there's
to Don
no
mean, Mallory? We don't know. You know.
what is the Dan Dan? Who is Nonuki-sama? is Nonuki-sama real? It's just like I
So I was
think
getting
that
that was all getting a little
yeah.
repetitive to me. Like the
Hmm.
image of oh the towns are in the shape of a human being and like they found torsos buried here and they found arms buried here. It's all creepy. It's good window dressing for the
Right.
story, right? But I was
Right.
like I feel like I know most of what's going on at this point except for maybe Hikaru OG Hikaru's family and like
Right.
whether or not they're like how did his dad die and what's the deal like how much is he bought into it like that was the only I'm sure there will be further revelations about what uh, current Hikaru is or his origin or what have you, beyond just being like Mercury and like a wish granting god. But
Hmm.
the little like wrinkle that got me like back in
Hmm.
was when Detective Guy goes to the old man's house, like the village elder's house, and is like, he's not a god at all. Like, what are you talking about? And I don't know how literal to take that, and that has me excited, right? Because
Right.
there's little moments where it's like this company is trying to harness the power of whatever Hikaru is.
Yeah.
And that to me feels more alien and eldritch as opposed to like Shinto and ghost like, right?
Right.
And so I'm wondering is there more to it than we expect? Is he actually like Venom or something as opposed to like a spirit removed from the cycle of death and rebirth? Like I want to know. I want to know
Uh-huh.
if people are not don't if the people who seem to be in the know don't have the full scope of the what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very vague. I think that's the thing. It's like I feel like we're at the stage of the mystery where we've been giving a bunch of like conflicting information, where it's like stuff that, like you said, like the town stuff is like I felt like almost every piece of information we got about the town was like, this is a rumor, in a way that I didn't feel confident putting stock in, like, oh, this definitely happened. You know what I mean? Like, and like,
Well,
this was the
if
reason
every
for
adult in the
this.
town ends up being like a cult member, that'd be a cool place to take this. Or if like half of them are,
Right.
what have you. Like, there's
Right,
the
right,
one
right.
moment of Yoshiki noticing the guy who has the cross, and just the statement of
Mm,
there are no churches in this town is freaky enough. And it feels like
yeah.
we've gotten to the bottom of that, where it's like they worship the mountain god instead. They did not convert to Catholicism because of the Hikaru's family's folly or what have you. But like,
Right.
is that the whole story? Because if so, it was a lot of build up for not a lot of like payoff. But I gotta
Right.
imagine there's more to it because of Detective Man and his mysterious company. And so that's why I'm really
Totally.
frustrated that the last 20 seconds of this are like, and the three characters are on the beach together with the salamander.
Yeah, just having their cry fight. It is a very beautiful emotional resolution, and I do think it's like we're doing better than Dawn to Dawn season 1, where it's like, okay, this feels like an ending where if we didn't get season 2, like, it would be unfortunate, but like, there's some sort of catharsis there.
Right.
Um but
It's a
yeah,
good,
like,
like,
mm,
things are gonna happen, but it's a good stopping point as opposed to like in the middle of an episode, in the middle of an arc.
yeah, totally.
But at the same time,
But
yeah, I want to know what's gonna happen next. And you inform me that the manga is not much farther along, and that sucks because like I would love for this to be like, oh, the manga is ending in a few weeks, and I could just go and read it.
exactly. Yeah. No. Unfortunately, we're getting no such resolution in a short time. So we're definitely gonna have to wait until season 2 has been confirmed, thankfully. But yeah, we're it's gonna be some time before we get everything resolved. I hope this is a 2-season story. I don't know that it needs to be dragged out too much farther.
Yeah, if this becomes
Vis-a-vis
a
like
50
the
episode
intrigue.
anime, I'm gonna be like, all right, well, we've killed half the town at this point. Like, where is there to go?
Yeah, totally. And I think I don't know. It's and I mean it was. I think the mystery aspect was fun. Of like you see like Hikaru proposes the theory. Like I like that they just like put the tiger on the table and yelled at it. Do you like that one?
hmm
They I like that they were like Hikaru is just like, am I Nonuki-sama? Like, because that's the most obvious thing
Right. I
that
like that
you
the
would.
characters are asking the questions that we are asking, and they're immediately
Yeah.
like, unless Hikaru is keeping a lot of things secret, like they're immediately acknowledging and in some cases debunking like the most obvious theories, and it's like, okay, cool.
Right. And
And I like
it's
that they're
nice
not
that
keeping like
he.
secrets from
Mhm.
each other just for dramatic's sake. Like I like that Hikaru has met Kurabayashi, like the medium lady.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, like I think that it's good that he like, and it's also just it was just interesting like the way that when he gravitated to that he immediately like was when he's talking to people like he's having trouble saying not saying like me and just saying no
hmm
Nukisama, because he's just so like, yeah, I'm like he just embraces that identity of a god that grants wishes because it's like a very positive self-image, and then he like is reading a storybook and things flip to a very negative self-image, and he's like, I'm a monster that needs to be ousted from the town. Like it's
hmm
it's playing a lot with that of like what, because it takes the mystery beyond like, is he an alien, is he a monster, is he a like a god, is he a ghost, like, to where it's like it matters almost less than what really matters is his self-image, because that is become self-deterministic. Like if you think you are a monster
hmm
you will become a monster, if you think you're a savior you will become a savior. Like and his self-identity is so fragile and able to like flip on a dime that it's like that, you know, like finding out details about what he is like is starting to matter, because that is gonna like define
Well, and they're
what
both
he
told that
does.
this problem is unsolvable, and then immediately they spiral in different ways, right?
Hmm.
I don't have any really further thoughts beyond I want more. Good anime, good. It's pretty. It's well animated. There's a couple of weird CG students at times, but that's fine. We can like look away from that.
That really
Lighting
did
good.
jump out at me. That one
Well, 'cause
shot where
they're
they're panning
rare,
over the
but they're
the class.
yeah.
The chicken. That's a good note to end on it.
Chicken.
It's
Hikaru or Yoshiki with like human lips, like live action lips in the water.
Oh my god, yes!
Some of those choices I
love
liked.
that.
Some of them I wasn't crazy about. I like the brain people because I like that they look like an MRI of a brain, and then it turns into a face. Some of the imagery is really interesting. Some of it kind of like wasn't crazy about. But
Do you like when they're on a real train?
I do, because there was
That was
moments
really
where
well
it
done
kept
scene.
like. I felt like I was watching 5 centimeters per second again, where for like a second I was like, all right, that's live action. All right, that's animated. Wait, what? Yeah, that's live action. Like, I liked that it was messing with me. Because they're also having a conversation about, like, if it's real to you, it's real, and if it's not, then it's still nice. And it's, like, almost like a meta about, like, watching anime and watching stories. And, like, for a second I was, like, almost taken out of it, because I was like, wow, this is like meta commentary on what it means to like experience life through story or something. Like, it was just a weird like disconnect there for a second with some of these conversations.
Totally. Yeah, like that's I think that's the series at its strongest. I think some of the like kind of monster of the weeky type stuff towards the middle was a little bit like, yeah, okay. But like the like when it's just like taking advantage of the fact that the art direction is whatever you feel like, you know, it is like able to really cook with gas and like play with expectations and do I'm such a fan of the way the flashing thing of like the fragility, when they're talking about the fragility of life, and it will just like flash to like bloody, is like at any second you could just die and it would all be over, like that, highlighting those moments. Good stuff. Good series, Sam. But
Good anime.
what does it get out of 10?
1 or 2 scenes of reaching your hand into your friend's chest out of 10, you know?
It's not gay unless unless the figure set. If you reach your hand in your friend's chest, it's not gay. But if your friend reaches your hand in your chest, that makes you gay, unfortunately.
If your friend reacts like a dog where you just scratched behind its ear, then maybe you're a little gay. You know, like, I don't know what to tell you.
If you're able to be stoic, he literally has a moment where he's able to be stoic. He's like, wait a second, you like this? That's gay. And he like pulls back. Good stuff.
Yeah, but do I like it more than Heartstopper? I think I do, you know? I gotta be honest. Oh, I don't know. I'm between 2 tiers right now. What 2 tiers do you think I'm between?
F and G probably.
No. I like this a lot.
That was a joke about a slur.
Oh God, no.
That was not a good joke. That was also not even intentional. I just realized it as soon as I said it. Spray bottle.
Is this the best thing you've pitched to me? It might be.
It might be. Horror seems to be striking a chord with you, because I think the other thing that's gotten this high is like "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared." So
that was fun. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, does this beat Deltarune chapters 1 and 2? Is kind of where I'm at.
I see.
Because I think that, and I guess Severance season 2, but yeah, I like this more than Severance season 2. Yeah, let me think about this. I really shot myself in the foot where I was like, the Stop Making Sense tier is like the top 10 and I'll go entire years without getting like a top 10 experience in my life, right?
Right. Yeah.
But this is really good, and I feel like it's a step above stuff I've put in an A tier.
Wow.
I liked it a lot.
I can't say anything. I gotta really keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna ruin it.
You say the wrong thing, Mallory, and it's going down. It's going to C. I don't want to give it to you. You know, I've enjoyed not giving you a single S this entire.
I gotta get my face out of this.
Experiment.
Don't look at me. Just think about the art. Okay, I'm removing my face from the experience.
Well, there was that awkward CG student. You know, can it be an S tier? No, yeah, of course it can be. Yeah, it's really good. I think I'm willing to do it. I think Stop Making Sense tier has been achieved.
Stop making sense!
And I expect the David Byrne edit, you know? You're already wearing the costume.
Yeah!
I was like, where is Mallory? Like, when is she coming back? Are those goggles? Are those swimming goggles?
Yeah. I just tried to find something that wouldn't make sense for the Stop Making Sense tier. I wasn't ready. I would have preferred confetti. I would have had streamers.
It's always with me, you know? It's always there.
And you may find yourself.
I rearranged my bookshelves. I know you were able to tell, and now it hangs above me, like it hangs above this entire experiment.
And you may find yourself in a rural Japanese town, and you may find
yourself in love with a wish-granting ghost, you know. And my computer is about to die. Uh-oh.
Oh my God, how did I get here? Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank all my supporters. I'd like to thank my friends. I'd like to thank my little brothers. Yeah, anyone who's ever supported me in anything. I just want to say that I really appreciate you. Thanks, Penny the Cat.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ragatha. I forgot to bring this up. I got a huge Ragatha plush. Look at the size of this. It's from the Digital
Mallory,
Circus.
you may owe a lot to Skong. You know, I'm in a good mood.
Wow.
I've experienced so much great media lately.
Thank you, Skong.
Yeah.
Man, what a load off. I don't even have
You've
to
been
try
trying
anymore.
Like 20 weeks? Yeah, it's been a minute. I think this is your 20th pitch. It might be.
Yeah, no, this is the 20th. This is the 40th episode.
So that would be your
podcast.
20th pitch, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. 1 in 20.
You did it.
Knocked it out of the park. We've done
I
it.
stole Deltarune's chapters 3 and 4 from you. That would be in there. I stole Dawn to Dawn seasons 1 and 2. That would be in there. I just kept snatching the opportunities from you.
Deltarune was brutal. Deltarune really broke
I'll
my
admit.
heart. Well, Sam, I'm glad that I've succeeded and won for once in my wretched life. But what are we going to be doing this week that will put me through some new form of torture?
Well, Mallory,
fun.
It's been a while since we've broken our own rules, and a movie has come out in Japan. Movies are tough, right? Because, like, when does it come to Japan? How long does it stay in theaters in the U.S.?
Yes.
We got a little bit of a reverse right now.
It's delayed our Sinners episode for a long time.
It delayed our Sinners episode for 8 months. You know, some of these things happen. Not 8. 5, something like that.
Too long.
Too long to deny you Sinners. But now, I haven't broken the format in a while, right? Like, we've both pitched things to each other that we haven't already seen, which was like, we're starting to get a little spicy, right, in the podcast. We've pitched things we don't like to each other, which is fun. We've pitched many different formats: music videos, movies, TV shows, anime, manga, webcomics. A singular riddle. But now, here's a curveball. What if I pitch you something that I myself cannot watch and will have not watched by the time we get to the next episode?
Uh-huh.
Because a little movie called Chainsaw Man Raise is out in theaters in Japan right now. And I've been threatening to bring you into the Chainsaw Man universe. And I said earlier that I was done with Halloween pitches, and that was a lie, because I like to lie.
We knew he was lying. We didn't. Hey, if you believed his lie, you're a fool.
You were a
we
fool.
didn't think.
So I'm also gonna. This is also the first pitch where it's two things in one. Where it's like, hey, Mallory, I want you to watch 12 episodes of Chainsaw Man, and also go out to the movies and watch the bomb arc of Chainsaw Man, which is in theaters right now. Some say it's the peak of Chainsaw Man. Some say it's the favorite arc of Sam. It isn't, but it is my first favorite arc.
Why are everyone having such a huge misconception about what your favorite arc of this anime is?
Because it changes every week, because I have very complicated feelings about Tatsuki Fujimoto and also the direction of Chainsaw Man as a series. But I love him. He's a good mangaka. He has had big influences on Dawn that we covered recently. He wrote and drew Goodbye Eri, friend of the show.
Yes, we liked that. We liked Goodbye Eri. That was good.
Yes. Now you get to watch his sloppier work, but also his more famous work. The guy who ate his girlfriend's fish is back for more. Chainsaw Man.
He's hungry.
Because he was grieving.
He's ready for he's ready to have a nice meal. Yeah. Man, all right. I'm
week,
ready for
the anime
this.
podcast continues.
Yeah, it's time to get into the zeitgeist. It's time to watch something that people actually care about in the anime world. I'm excited. But yeah, until then, I will see you, my friend Sam. Have a good night.
And I'll see you at the movies, Mallory.
Whoa.